Hey, hey, what's up, guys? Frugal BC here. I'm gonna come at you today with a live episode, and what I want to talk about today primarily is, excuse me a second. I want to talk to you today about eBay dropshipping. That's going to be the focus of today's show. This is going to be a longer one than my usual live stream, but that's okay, or my usual video. So I just want to let you guys know that. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions along the way, please leave it in the chat. I'll try to do my best to pay attention to it and answer. Most likely you will get answered. So before I do that, I want to give some personal updates. Before I told you guys that I was going on a trip to Colorado, I have just changed those plans. Can't quite do it because it's actually really expensive to go to Colorado. And guess what? The whole point of my trip was to do some winter sports, and there is no snow. I just checked the weather reports. I looked at Instagram photos recently. They're all showing grass. I mean, there's no snow. So that would be a really bad idea. I'm going to drive all this way, stay in a very expensive Airbnb, and not be able to really do anything. And because you can't go inside anywhere, I just don't see the point. I don't know what the use of that would be. So I've canceled my trip. So what am I going to do instead? I'm going to go to Upper Michigan, where there is snow and some of the same amenities as Colorado. I won't go into that too much, but I think it'll be a better trip. It'll be a shorter one, both in duration, because I don't have a really, really long drive. It's only about 3 hours away from where I am. Accommodations are less expensive, and it should be a lot of fun. So I'm going to save some money. It means I'll be able to put more money back into my savings. But also, I think it's just a better choice overall. That was going to be a really long drive and for not a lot of payoff. And so I think I might still go to Colorado. I just might save it for, maybe summer. I'll do some mountain biking. I haven't really talked a lot about biking on this channel, which is kind of crazy. So that's one of the updates I'll talk about too. I've been biking way more than I usually do. I biked to work the 2 days. I typically go to work in person 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I biked to work both days. And actually, it was kind of a reminder that biking is really fun in the winter. It becomes kind of an adventure. So you have to think about it a little differently. Like in the summer, it's just sort of pleasant. In the winter, it's kind of a challenge and an adventure, but it's fun. Like you get exercise. So like I did have to do cardio that day because I had about 25 minutes there and 25 minutes back or so on the bike. And in the winter, it's just that much harder. So I'm really excited about that. And I kind of just, I thought a long time about getting a fat bike, and I haven't really wanted to spend the money on it. I still want to ski, but skiing becomes harder when the conditions you really need a lot of snow to have good conditions to ski, especially if you ski classic like I do. I should really frame this a little better here. That's a little better. Yeah, you're seeing some of my wall. These are actually, I never explained these before, but these are actually photos that I took, except for the one that's right near my head. That's supposed to be me as Peter Parker, the reporter. That was drawn by a friend of mine who's Tim Seeley. He's a pretty well-known comic book artist in the comic book world. I went to high school with him. I stayed at his place when him and our other friend Rob, when I visited them in Eau Claire. And I've kind of gotten to know him over the years. Now he's getting a little too big that I don't have a lot of access to him. And then right below that is the Inner Sleeve. Inner Sleeve is a really cool record store that's been around forever in Wausau, and that's like a hand-drawn poster that I have. So that's hanging up there. The other two are pinup photos that I've taken, and I really want to do some more of. I have a bunch of photos that I've taken that I'd really like to have framed like that. Anyway, let's see other updates. Well, how about I just get right into the drop shipping one? I was going to talk about net worth, or basically that's going well. I am over 25% of the way to where I need to be, but that's kind of nebulous because I have other goals that have to do with entrepreneurship. So, what retirement, quote unquote, actually looks like for me could be very different from the average person. And so I really have a hard time thinking that, because to me, it's not like I'm going to just get to, this number, and I'm just going to stop doing everything. Like, I have all these little side projects and stuff. This channel is one of them. Right now, it doesn't earn any money. My podcast does earn money. I have sponsors for it, which is cool. So that brings in some money, and I just enjoy doing it. My blog brings in a little bit of money. I have posts on Medium. Yeah, by the way, frugalwheels.com. If you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. And so that's that. I also want to talk about, let's see. No, that's it. Let's go to eBay dropshipping. So this started off that I was acquainted to this from Renee Christine at Cupcake Trainings. Great YouTube channel if you want to learn how to earn money and just general entrepreneurship advice. I get a big kick out of her. She's sort of funny. She doesn't. Her videos are very entertaining, but I think she has a good sense of things. I don't agree with everything she says, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying her videos. And I think mostly she gives really good advice. And so she reviewed someone else's course called Dropshipping Titans, and that is by Paul Lipsky. And after hearing her review, I was blown away with her results, and I thought, well, this is something I could try. So I'll get into the rest later, but I want to explain what dropshipping on eBay is. So basically what you're doing is you're finding something on, say, a retail website like Walmart, Home Depot is a popular one, maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. Man, my hair I'm trying a new haircut too, by the way. And I do my own haircuts, normally my kind of forward and up. That's pretty easy to do. I'm trying this one where I kind of go back, and I just don't know if it's a little more challenging to get it right. So plus my hair's a little thinner on top, which is I should have wore a hat. But anyway, so dropshipping is you find something on one of these sites like Walmart, you mark it up on eBay, and then when they buy it on eBay, you buy it from Walmart and you send it to them. When I first started this, I was scared out of my wits. I watched a ton of Paul Lipsky videos after Renee Christine's advice, and I thought it seemed simple enough. And I put up a few listings and kind of forgot about it because like nothing happened in the first 2 or 3 days, and I kind of left it up, but I thought it's probably never going to happen, right? Then all of a sudden I got an order, and I was like, my heart was beating. I was like, oh my God, I actually got an order for this. Like, what do I do? So, and by the way, to explain what you're doing is you're taking basically the photos from that site, you copy them to your desktop. There are automated ways to do this, but I can get into that in a bit. But you take the information that they list, the product description, you put that in eBay, you put the photos in eBay, and you got to mark it up. Now, here's the kicker. You got to mark it up a lot, especially on more expensive items, because they charge you a percentage. For eBay, it's like 10%. It's a little high, in my opinion. Plus, PayPal takes their cut. It's a little bit less if you get on managed payments, and that's what I recommend. If you can get on managed payments, that will save you a lot of money. Not a lot, but it makes sense. But they take their cut, so you really got to mark it up. There's calculators that will show you profits, and I highly recommend you use one of those. Just type in eBay dropshipping calculator, and it'll come up, or even eBay calculator, because you'll just put in the price that you pay, the price that they pay. You got to think about tax. Tax gets added on too if you don't get tax exempt, and that's a whole nother thing I never even got into. And then there's you got to think about shipping too. So I always stuck with items that were over $35, so I didn't have to pay shipping on Walmart. You can get Walmart Plus, so you don't have to pay shipping as well. That's then you can upload lower cost items. So anyway, my heart was beating, and I thought, oh my God, they're gonna know what I'm doing. They're gonna get this package from Walmart, and they're gonna get super pissed. And well, I thought, okay, what's the worst that happened? You have one person that's mad at you, and you decide, screw this, I'm never gonna do it again. And you're out, maybe you're out a few bucks. So you have to give them a refund or something. I'm like, it's well worth it to get this like business lesson, right? This lesson of like, does this, this experiment of does this work? So I did it. This is what I did. And it turned out nothing happened. The sale went through just fine. My only issue is I think I lost money on the first few sales I made. So how did I do? It turns out actually I did pretty well. So I'm going to pull up my sheet. I don't have the ability to show you, but I'm going to kind of read through my charts. So looking at my sales. By the way, if you want to look at that calculator, it's called Final Fee Calc, CALC.com. So finalcalc.com. So in September, when I first started it, I only sold 3 things, but one of them was an Instant Pot that I sold for $86.82 is the total revenue that I got, and the cost of it was $64 that I paid after all the fees and everything. So I made $22.75. Now I wasn't quite calculating them correctly at this point, or at least I added it in on the back end. So my profits are correct, but the amount I made isn't necessarily correct. It's before fees. But overall, I made $30.02 that month. So that's pretty good, right? I mean, I think that's a pretty good profit. Now, I greatly increased my sales in October, but I didn't make a lot on all of them. So I ended up making $89.76. And then in November, I managed to increase that to $233.86. And then now December is when things went absolutely bananas. I was getting orders like you just would not believe the amount of orders that I was getting on a daily. I would get like I'd fulfill an order and then go check my email, and I had another one that popped in like as I was doing it. It was crazy, and that lasted through the first like 5 days of. Well, no, I take it back. Through the first 7 days, this is what December looked. So in the first 7 days of September, I made $169.78. And then it kind of went bye-bye. And this is what sucks about it. But by the way, I made, over 90 sales during these 3 months or so that I was doing this. And not a single person complained. Not a single person said, hey, wait a minute, how come this is coming from Walmart? So here's the thing. Walmart does not put an invoice in their box. And most people on eBay are used to having, they're used to getting boxes from different places because people who just like resell on eBay, they usually use their old boxes that they get things shipped to. And that's what I did. I actually had an eBay store where I would just sell, things from around the house. When I was saving for the down payment on my house, that was one of the ways I raised money. Partially it was that I didn't make a ton of money doing that, but I made some money doing that. But also it was like to clear out stuff because I knew I was moving. I really didn't want to like take all this stuff into my new house, and so that helped me get rid of things. But yeah, so then it just dropped off, and by the end of the month, I ended up with $183.46 total is all I made, and then. In January, I sold one thing. I sold the TV. I had a really good markup on it, though, so I made like $19. So it was nice to make money doing this. And I don't know what happened. I'll be honest. I don't know why it stopped. But the cool thing, is it doesn't really cost you anything. Even if that happens, you don't really lose anything. You just don't. It just stops, right? So this is the cool thing. Like if this happened where I was like buying things to sell, I'd be stuck with all this inventory. I'd have a whole bunch of money into this with nothing to show for it, and I'd be out money. But in this case, like if it just stops, it just stops. You don't lose anything. Like I said, there are ways to automate this. What I did is I have a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. I have 2. I have one to list all the items, and what I do is once I list an item, I put a description in one row on the product sheet, and I put another one with there's like a, I don't know if it's a UPC code, but there's like a numerical code at the end of the web address for each product, and I take that code, and if you put that code into the search bar, it'll bring that product up. So that's a really easy way for me to double check that things are in stock. So that's one of the pitfalls of eBay is like you have to keep checking the stock levels to make sure that you're not running out of things. And Walmart is kind of notorious for suddenly just being out of stock or something, or they change it where they don't ship it and it's pickup only, and you can't really drop ship it that way. So you have to watch, and I try to do this several times a week. If I'm selling a lot, then I'm going to do it like every day because I want to make sure. Because if it's out of stock, you have to cancel the order, and eBay doesn't like it when you cancel orders. So if you cancel too many, they penalize you. I still had to cancel some. So I don't know what happened. I'm in good standing on eBay. I don't have any dings on my account. I had a couple returns. That's one of the things I learned from it is don't bother with people making offers. It's useless. Your market with this is people who just don't care about price. And there are surprisingly a lot of people who don't care about price. They're probably not people who are watching my channel. Let's just say that. They're not people who are compare shopping. Like they're on eBay, they just want to look it up. Oh, that's the thing I want, give it to me. I don't care how much it is. Obviously, if you mark it up way too much, you're not going to get a lot of sales, but generally people don't care. So the people who are going to make offers, they're people who are price conscious. So, and all the issues I've ever had were people who made offers, almost all of them. I've had a couple where I had one where I sent someone a trash can and it was dented and they were mad, and I get it. I felt bad, and I said, "Hey, what can I do? Can I start the return for you and exchange it?" And they were just like, "I don't have time." I'm like, so sometimes and it ended up just being that's what it was. Like they didn't leave me a bad review. I offered to help them to do whatever I could to make it right. They just didn't want to. They complained about it, but they didn't seem to want to do anything to fix it. And I was like, all right, not much I can do. I can't, you can try to pop it was kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't even really dented. It was kind of pushed in, and I felt like they probably could have just pushed it back out, but it is what it is. I had another one where Walmart delivered it without a box around it. Like it was just, the product box. And I'm like, well, and they were mad because it was a Christmas present. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I'd be mad too. I had a couple that were kind of like that where they had minor complaints, and I just said, hey, can I give you like $5 off? Can I PayPal you like $5 and we'll call it good. And actually in both cases, they went from being really angry to being super appreciative and understanding. And all it took is like $5. And I'm like, I think I still made a profit off of them. Like it didn't even take away it was just a lesser profit. But so really, if you just try the one I had that I was unable to resolve was, well, actually, besides that one, I had someone, they said that they didn't get the filter for their vacuum. So I was selling like these stainless steel vacuums. And I told the guy, I'm like, well, first he used the thing where it says you tell eBay you didn't get it. And he's like, well, you got the product. Like, that's not accurate. I'm like, first off, just reach out to me and let's see if we can resolve this. But instead he went this route of like telling eBay basically you didn't get it. And I said, well, that's not true. And I put in the code, the tracking code. By the way, you got to really be really good on the tracking codes. And that's kind of a tricky part. But you have to be really good on the tracking codes. You can't let that go. And what happened was, so then I was reaching out to him. I'm like, well, listen, I'm not going to let you say that you didn't get it because you obviously got it. It's missing a part. There's ways to return it, exchange it, or I can try to, let me find this. I'm like, go in the instructions, look at the part that says what the filter and the product number is. I will order one and send it to your house. And then he's like, didn't respond to that, or like, I don't remember what he said. It was weird. It was like he didn't want to do that, or I think he said like, okay, but then he never did it. Then all of a sudden he started a return. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I started the return, and then he just never fulfilled it. So I don't know what the deal with that is. Like it never got resolved really. I'm like, dude, I would have sent you the filter. We could have fixed this if you just would have worked with me. Like, so you have to deal. One thing with eBay dropshipping is you are going to deal with some people who are, not great to work with. Let's just say that. Just like any business, you're going to have difficult customers, and the best you can do is like try your best to make it right. Most of the people, well, to start off with, most of the sales go by without, they order it, you send it to them, that's it, done. This was a very tiny percentage. I mean, I probably had 4 or 5 people I had to interact with over 90 sales. I didn't even keep track of how many. I could count them up, but so this many sales, and it's pretty low, but you will have to deal with it. So that's something to think about. There are ways to automate it, but I have not liked them. So there's one called AutoDS that Paul Lipsky, and I should point out, if you guys really want to learn and dive into this, Paul Lipsky is the man. He's kind of transitioning into Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, which I'm really interested in. I've been wanting to test it out. The problem is you have to get the shipping option, and I don't know what the clear path to getting that option is. I think you have to sell a couple things locally before they let you. So I might have to. I put one thing up that no one looked at, but I might try. I'll probably try to sell something smaller just so I can get the sale through it. So that's the one hang up. But apparently the fees are about half of eBay's. They're like 5%. I'm like, yeah, you guys are gonna crush eBay, because I'll be honest, eBay is sort of a pain in the ass. Like, it's a really old system. It's set up weird. There's just things where it's like operating on something that was developed 15 years ago and they just never updated it. It's really a garbage website. Sorry, eBay's probably gonna burn down my house now, but I mean, it's a terrible website. And so I have a lot of faith in Facebook Marketplace. But if you want to learn all this stuff, I think I'm giving you a good primer of how it works. But if you really want to dive in, I watched a lot of Paul Lipsky's Q&As. He does live Q&As every Tuesday, and now he's talking a lot about Facebook Marketplace, but you can go back and watch those other ones. And you could also take his course. I did not. I didn't think I needed it because I got so much value out of his videos. Been meaning to maybe send him a super chat or something to send him some money, because I really do appreciate the help he gave me. But he had a live training on Facebook Marketplace, and it was like an hour-long sales pitch, and that ticked me off a lot. So I'm not real happy about that. But I will say his videos have a lot of value. People will ask questions that you will have. You won't be able to search for those questions directly, but if you watch enough videos, eventually things will come up and you'll be like, I wonder about that. And then you'll see it in the video and go, oh yeah, that's how to do it. So that's kind of my spiel on eBay dropshipping. I think it can be a great way to earn some extra money on the side. I'd be super worried about relying on it for a source of income, because I can tell you, I have no idea why suddenly I'm getting no sales. I mean, I went from, and I only had usually between 20 and 30 items listed. I know people who do this for a living have way more. It'll be in the hundreds. You have to be able to keep track of that. Oh, I didn't mention about AutoDS. I tried it. It was garbage. I mean, it was absolutely garbage. I spent almost an entire day trying to fiddle around with it to get it to work. And that's one area too where I was pretty ticked at Paul, because he made it sound like it was the greatest thing ever, and it's garbage. It's hot garbage. So don't pay for it unless you want to spend a really long time getting it. If you've got hundreds of listings, it might be worth taking the time to get it set up and just fiddling around with it and having it not work the way it's supposed to until you finally get it that way. I was like, dude, I have 20, 30 listings. I can do this in the time I've been screwing around with this and having it not working. I can have this. I could just check it myself every day. One of the other things with AutoDS is it actually killed. Something happened. The defaults are weird. It changed one of the things I sold to only having one more left, and because of that, when the next one sold, it went, the listing disappears. Because what you want to do is you want to say, when you're drop shipping, you want to say you have I don't know, 6 or 8 or something like that, because when people buy them, that listing becomes, as people buy it, eBay says, oh, people are buying this listing, I'm going to show it to more people, and other people see it, and they can see that you've sold several, so they say, okay, other people have bought it, it must be legit. So you don't want those to disappear. And I had one of my best-selling items disappear on me, and I was so mad. I was so mad. I'm like, you guys just killed you. You actually cost me money. I'm paying you to cost me money. Not okay. So I'm sorry. AutoDS is hot garbage. Don't waste your time unless you have nothing better to do but to spend a lot of time screwing around with it. It sounds like I'm digging on Paul, but I'm really not. He really provides a lot of great information. He's just done a couple of things that have really irked me. But definitely check it out. I will put a link in the description because I do think him and Renee Christine are great for a lot of these online. He's great for drop shipping. Renee is great for all these other online ways of making money. And I like that she's super honest. Like, she's not rah about everything. In fact, she's done like a tons of Etsy experiments, and her conclusion is like, this is really hard to get into. Like, it's really hard to build. If you really have to have like kind of a local audience that buys stuff through Etsy to kind of boost your listings to other people. But if you just kind of like go into it without that, and you're just starting from scratch, you're going to face a really long uphill battle. And so I like the honesty from her. I like that she experiments with all these things, gives it an honest effort, and says, hey, this worked, or hey, this didn't. Drop shipping is one of the few things that she said, I couldn't believe this. It's like you do it, you turn it on, and it makes money. And that was my experience. Like I said, I can't figure out why it just stopped. I'm still in good standing. All my stuff is above average. So I don't get it, but I hope I find out. If someone has any clue, leave me a comment in the chat, or leave me a comment. We didn't get any questions today. I'm a little bummed about that, but I know it's hard when you have a small number of subscribers. Hey guys, if you like this video today, hit the like and subscribe button. I probably should have said that way earlier, but I didn't. And that's it for the live today. And if you have any questions about anything eBay dropshipping or anything else I've talked about, feel free to leave a comment, and let me know if you like these longer ones where I just kind of go live. But let me know. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.